a small, quiet town nestled deep within the woods, there lies a trail known to the locals as the Haunted Trail. This seemingly innocent path, framed by towering trees and shrouded in dense fog, has become the center of ghostly tales and eerie legends. Whispers of strange happenings and inexplicable encounters echo through the town, drawing the curious and the brave to explore its darkened depths. But one chilling story stands out among the rest, a tale that sends shivers down the spine and lingers in the minds of those who hear it. It is the story of a young man named Thomas, who one fateful autumn evening vanished without a trace while hiking along this very trail. As twilight fell, shadows crept closer, and the air grew thick with tension. Thomas, eager for adventure, had set out with nothing but a flashlight and a heart full of courage. As he stepped onto the trail, the trees seemed to close in around him. The leaves rustled ominously in the breeze, whispering secrets of those who had wandered here before. The locals warned of the trail's haunted reputation, recounting stories of strange noises, flickering lights, and the feeling of being watched. But Thomas, driven by youthful bravado, dismissed their warnings. He chuckled to himself, convinced that he was merely embarking on a harmless adventure. As he ventured deeper into the woods, he felt an unsettling chill wrap around him, as if the forest itself was alive, breathing down his neck. The daylight slowly faded, and with the setting sun, shadows danced on the ground, stretching and warping into grotesque forms. With each step, Thomas felt an inexplicable weight on his chest, a sense of urgency that compelled him to move faster. It was then that he heard it, a distant, haunting sound, like a melody carried by the wind. The notes were soft at first, almost sweet, but they quickly turned dark, echoing through the trees like a siren's call. Thomas paused, his heart racing. He glanced around, trying to catch a glimpse of what might be causing the eerie music. But the forest offered no answers, only the relentless whispers of the leaves. Compelled by an unknown force, Thomas followed the sound deeper into the heart of the haunted trail. As he walked, the melody grew louder, intertwining with the rustle of the branches and the crunch of the twigs beneath his feet. It was enchanting yet terrifying, dragging him further into the woods. With every step, he felt a creeping unease settle in his stomach, yet he pushed on, drawn by the allure of the unknown. Suddenly, the music stopped. A heavy silence enveloped him, as if the forest held its breath. Thomas shivered, the calmness almost more frightening than the melody. He took a moment to collect himself, but as he turned to retrace his steps, he realized the path had changed. The familiar trail he had walked was no longer visible. The trees seemed to shift, their branches twisting and turning, obscuring his way back. Panic surged through him. He called out, his voice echoing back at him, swallowed by the looming darkness. "Hello? Is anyone there?" But the only response was the rustling of leaves, mocking him in the stillness. He fumbled for his flashlight, the beam flickering unsteadily as it cast eerie shadows around him. Time slipped away, and the forest felt alive, watching him, waiting. He could hear his heartbeat pounding in his ears, each thump a reminder of the growing dread that enveloped him. The shadows lengthened and shifted, always just out of sight. Hours passed, or at least it felt that way, as Thomas wandered through the maze of trees. He shouted for help, but the only reply was the chilling echo of his own voice. Desperation clawed at him. He stumbled upon a small clearing, the moonlight spilling down like a spotlight, illuminating the ground. There, in the soft glow of the moon, he spotted something. A figure stood at the edge of the clearing. His heart raced as he approached, but the figure remained still, almost lifeless, shrouded in darkness. "Who are you?" he called out, his voice trembling. The figure did not respond, only turned slightly, revealing just enough of a silhouette to send a chill coursing through him. Frozen in place, Thomas felt an overwhelming sense of dread wash over him. The figure began to drift away from the clearing, moving silently into the depths of the woods. Against his better judgment, Thomas chased after it, compelled by a mix of fear and curiosity. Every instinct screamed at him to turn back, to flee the haunted trail, but he pressed on, driven by a sense of urgency he could not explain. As he followed the figure, the forest thickened around him. Branches clawed at him, and roots snaked across the ground, threatening to trip him. He shouted again, "Wait, please." But the figure merely glided further into the darkness, leading him deeper and deeper away from the world he knew. With each passing moment, the air grew colder, and a heavy mist began to envelop him. The whispers returned, louder now, swirling around him like a haunting melody. The figure turned one last time, and in that moment, Thomas caught a glimpse of its face, pale, hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through him, as if it could see into the very depths of his soul. A scream caught in his throat as the figure vanished, leaving him alone in the suffocating dark. In that moment of silence, Thomas felt the weight of the forest pressing down on him, a palpable fear that filled the air. He turned to run, heart pounding, desperate to escape whatever darkness had taken hold of him. But the trail was gone. The trees loomed high and forbidding, branches twisting in unnatural angles. He stumbled through the undergrowth, his flashlight flickering wildly, illuminating nothing but shadows. The whispers grew louder, a cacophony of voices that seemed to mock his terror. "Help, please, someone help me," he cried, his voice breaking. But the only answer was the rustling of leaves, the sighing of the wind as it carried his cries away. Days turned into weeks, but Thomas never returned. The townsfolk searched the haunted trail, calling out his name, but the forest remained silent, hiding its secrets well. They whispered of his fate, a tale that grew darker with each retelling. Some claimed they saw him, wandering the trail, lost in the grip of madness, forever searching for the figure that had led him astray. Others spoke of ghostly lights flickering in the woods, the sound of a haunting melody drifting on the wind. The haunted trail became a place of fear and dread, a warning to those who dared to tread its path. It transformed into a legend, a tale passed down through generations, a reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the veil of the known. Visitors began to approach the trail with trepidation, armed with flashlights and bravado, eager to uncover the mystery of Thomas's disappearance. But many left with more questions than answers. They felt the weight of the forest, the sense of being watched, the whispers that seemed to follow them. Those who ventured too deep often reported strange happenings, lost items, disorientation, and the overwhelming sense of dread that settled in their bones. Years passed, and still, the tale of Thomas echoed through the town like a chilling refrain. Some believed he had become part of the forest itself, a guardian of the haunted trail, forever searching for a way back. Others thought he was a warning, a reminder that some paths are not meant to be traveled, that the darkness is not merely a backdrop, but a living, breathing entity with its own will. And so, the haunted trail continues to draw the curious, the thrill-seekers, and the brave-hearted. Each year, as autumn descends and the fog rolls in, they tread carefully along its path, their hearts pounding with a mix of excitement and dread. Will they find the truth that lies hidden within the shadows? Or will they become another ghost story, lost in the whispers of the haunted trail? Each footfall echoes with the weight of history, and as the sun sets and darkness falls, the forest awakens, ready to claim its next wanderer. As night descends, remember Thomas, remember the whispers, and remember the darkness is always watching, waiting for its next story to unfold.